DJ, man, it has been a long time since we had a basketball star on here. How we doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Man, we're blessed. Like I said, we've been hitting everything from football, baseball, gymnastics, volleyball, whatever. It's been a while since we got to talk hoops, so it's a blessing. And then Tennessee is one of our largest audiences, so works out even better that not only you play hoops, but for Tennessee. But before we get into any of that, we want to break the ice, kind of get things flowing here. And so I ask, if you had your own talk show and you could have your first celebrity guest on there, who would it be?
Celebrity guest. Ooh, that's a good one. You gotta give me some time with that one. I would probably have to say Kevin Durant. That's my favorite NBA player. So I'll say Kevin Durant.
Oh boy, we starting off wrong. I'm a Russell Westbrook fan. That still stings. It's been like 8 years now, and I'm still not past it. You going, oh, whew. All right. My question for you though, you had him on your show. I was asked to ask you this. Thomas wants to know. He said, you came to a little get together and you ate a whole plate of sausage balls. Would you share the sausage balls with Kevin Durant?
Yes, I would definitely share the sausage balls Kevin Durant. So how it all started, I'm actually partnered with Busy Bees, and we were like doing a little photo shoot for the shirt that they had created me. And his mother was actually there. She was like feeding us food and everything like that. And she had these sausage balls. And at first, I wasn't really like that hungry, but when I saw them, it's like everybody was like saying, like, "Oh, they're good." I was like, "Okay, let me get a try." So I went from eating like two sausage balls to eating like almost like 30. So it was pretty good. So if Kevin Durant was to be in my podcast or my show, I would definitely suggest him getting some sausage balls. Those are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't feel bad, DJ. I do that at every tailgate I'm at. I'm eating whatever I want as much as I want, and whoever doesn't get to eat, man, sorry for not beating me to the table. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
all right, this one's a good one, man. We've got so many different picks over this question. If you had to do karaoke, I mean had to, you got a crowd, man. They want to hear you sing, DJ. What's your go-to song that you're gonna sing that you feel comfortable with?
that's a good one. Word for word.
I mean, there will be words on screen, but yeah, usually the one word for word is always gonna be the comfort zone.
I know a lot of songs from word for word. But if I had to choose one, that's a tough one. Oh, I would probably have to say the Rocky Top song. I mean, I don't really know the words like that for real, but I actually know the hook of it. So if I just not understand the words to the Rocky Top song, I think that would be a good song to play. If I was
Daniel, how smart a choice was that answer?
I
Like,
mean, that's the pandering to your people, man. Like you got to take care of your people. But I would imagine that's the go-to because in Knoxville, you probably have to do zero work if you play that song because everybody else gonna sing it for you.
exactly, that's the perfect song to play. So I'm gonna just sing, and then the crowd's gonna do the rest of the words. So.
that might be the best answer. I forgot what guy said Taylor Swift, and which threw me because he said Taylor Swift DJ, but then he said, crowd full of girls, they'll sing for him. Same kind of deal, but I like yours even better because there is a guarantee. Taylor Swift should do it. The girls should take over for you, but with Rocky Top, you're guaranteed to be covered. It don't matter how bad your voice is. So I like that. That might be my new favorite answer.
Sure.
All right, so this one, man, this is the one I'm going to grade you on. I need to know. I don't want to hear it. I'm an LSU fan.
That's my song right there. I love that song.
Yeah, I don't. I'm an LSU fan. If y'all playing, that means y'all scored on us. Look, anyway, and I heard it way too. I heard it way too much last year when y'all came down to Baton Rouge. So, moving on, who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Rihanna, easy. Rihanna,
He said easy.
easy. I mean, Rihanna. I mean, don't get no better. I mean, she makes great music, and at the same time, she looks great as well. So, I mean,
Yeah,
couldn't
you
go,
got you got
couldn't
no got no beef. You got no beef here, man.
no beef, no beef.
All right, this is the last one. Then I'll let Daniel get into your story. Favorite athlete growing up?
favorite athlete growing up, I will have to definitely say LeBron James. I mean, a lot of people talk down on LeBron James. A lot of people might say, "Oh, LeBron James not this good," this and that and the third. But the thing about LeBron is that not only does he know how to play the game, he knows the game as well. You know, he does a lot of film, and you know, throughout his whole career, he's been dominating throughout his whole career. I mean, you look at him now; he's 38, finna get ready to turn 39, and he's still averaging 30 points a game. So his work speaks for itself. So I mean, to me, I think he's one of the best players in the NBA by far. So.
Do you know an interesting fact before he gets into your story? Before we started interviewing athletes, when we didn't really know what we wanted to do, we started this podcast during COVID, during the Last Dance, talking about MJ and the Bulls. So this podcast actually started with us talking about basketball and talking about MJ. So it's kind of crazy, and then it just kind of turned into this. But yeah, so with the LeBron factor, we get it because he's Mike's this generation. You know how people try to compare him, but obviously, it's a basketball guy. It's two different generations.
Yeah, I mean, you look at him. He came into the NBA when I was just when my mom was giving birth to me. So I've been watching him since I'll probably say when I started watching LeBron when I turned about like around maybe 5-6 years old, and I've just been watching him throughout my whole life. I mean, he's just a great dude, on and off the court. Just a great player. I mean, great player.
So yeah, let's talk about another great player. Let's talk about you, man. let's get into it, man. All right. So obviously, when we start these interviews, we got to go back and get the backstories. So tell me a little bit about your hometown. Where are you from?
Dallas, Texas. I'm originally born in Garland, Texas, not too far from Dallas, almost 25, 30-minute drive from there. But I mean, yeah, that's where I come from. I come from Garland, Texas. I've been there my whole life. I was born and raised there. And then I had recently moved in with my dad when I was around 8 because I was staying with my mom throughout the time. So I moved in with my dad around 8 years old. And I had fell in love. With the game.
So what is the family dynamics like? You said you moved in with your dad. So were you parents are divorced? Who are you living with? And then you decide.
My parents had got divorced, and I had moved into with my dad around like 8 years old. And I was playing sports. I was playing other sports like soccer. I was playing football. But then when I started playing basketball, it was just a total different love for the game. I just fell in love with it. As soon as I saw the ball going to basket, I just told myself, I'm going to play basketball for the rest of my life.
Because you're from Dallas, Texas, Daniel's going to want to know if you have a different love.
Yeah. You got a love for the Star?
Oh, of course. I love the Dallas Cowboys. That's my team right there. Dallas Cowboys, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Stars. I mean, any team
Dallas
through
and through.
Through and through.
Well, so you're pretty happy about the outcome of that game last night, huh?
Yeah, I'm definitely happy. I ain't gonna lie, I was looking at the game, I was like, hope they pull it through, but they definitely pulled it through. So but yeah.
It wasn't even close, man. It was just a beat down.
Yeah.
So you moved in with your dad, but do you have any brothers or sisters, or are you the only child?
I have a brother and a sister. My sister, she's the oldest, she's 21. Actually, she's 22. And I have a brother, he's 16, put together, to turn 17.
Gotcha. You putting the work in on him, giving him a little beat down every now and then, just showing him who the alpha is.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to get him to play basketball. I mean, my little brother. I mean, he really can play any sport. He can play basketball, football, soccer, baseball. I mean, he's really. He can really play any sport. But I've noticed that he's really been falling in love with football lately. So I've been, just preaching to him, giving him the best advice that I can, just to help him, keep his head straight and just, when people are not, when he's not doing anything at the crib, he could just be, working on football drills, whether it's footwork or catching the ball, things like that. Just, because I can tell that he's really into football. So I'm just trying to, just keep him busy.
Gotcha. So, Jim and I we're both from Memphis, and Memphis obviously is a hotbed for basketball. You don't have to go far as basketball goals in every driveway. But being from growing up in Texas, the original thought that I have is like Texas high school football, but what is Texas high school basketball like?
Texas high school basketball, if you ask me, I think Texas generate the best hoopers in my state. If you ask me, I mean, you look at it, you got Casey Wallace coming out of Texas, Anthony Black, Rylan Griffin, Rob Holland. The list goes on. I mean, Texas hoopers, man. I mean, they just got the dog mentality, and like myself, and we just always been those type of guys to where we just want to come out and compete. We don't say too much, we don't do too much. We just want to come out and just hoop, and that's how I've always been my whole life coming out of Texas.
So what high school did you attend?
I went to Berkeley High School in Richardson, Texas.
All right. So just, your time there, man, you obviously had an incredible career, but as a junior, 2020-2021 season, you ascended in the national recruiting rankings after showcasing your offensive abilities with 22 points per game scoring average. You averaged 16.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals per game as a senior at Minnesota Prep. You were a 4-star prospect in the class of 2022. You're rated as the nation's number 45 prospect, number 1 prospect in the state of Minnesota on 3, as well as number 73 in the nation by 247 Sports. So I guess the first question is those accolades and those numbers, obviously you were in Texas, but then it talks about Minnesota Prep. So where is Minnesota Prep in relation to Texas? Like it's for listeners, is it in Texas or is it actually in Minnesota? Because it's hard to put an idea like where this is located.
I'm gonna just give you the whole rundown. So basically, I went to Berkeley High School my first 2 years in high school. As a freshman in high school, I was playing, JV, and I was basically killing those dudes in JV. I mean, I was averaging almost 30 points a game. I was just showing the coach for varsity that I was, capable and that I wanted to, play at the highest level. So he put me in varsity as a freshman. I wasn't really getting as much playing time as I needed, but and then sophomore year comes up. I'm a sophomore. I'm playing on varsity, and I was averaging, I'll probably say about maybe 12 to 13 points a game. It was some games where I had some games where I just I did my thing. It was some games where I didn't, but I didn't think I was really getting the recognition that I needed when I was in Texas, and I felt like me coming out of Texas, I thought that I was gonna get the respect that I needed, and turns out I didn't. So after my sophomore year in high school, me and my dad, we looked at some other options, and Minnesota Prep came into the books. My mentor, his name is Majak Williams. Shout out to Majak. He reached out to me, and he noticed that I wasn't really getting the looks that I wanted when I was playing at high school at Berkeley High School. I only had 2 offers, and that was from DePaul and Tulsa. Not to say nothing was bad about that, but me, I want to be able to go out and show the world what I was capable of. So transferred to Minnesota Prep after my sophomore year, and then coming into my junior year, I played my first year in the ground session. Everybody knows the ground session. You can name a lot of players that come from the ground session. You got Jalen Green, who else? We got a lot of players that come from the ground session. So I played in the ground session my first year, and that's your junior year. That's the year that you want to really, take off and show the people what you're capable of, and that's exactly what I did. Averaging 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and as I was playing, in the grind session, that's how I noticed that the offers started coming in, and I was getting calls from Georgetown, Arizona State, Oregon State, Memphis. I mean, the list goes on. So I think that jump from going from public school in my high school in Texas to going to Minnesota Prep, I think that was a huge jump for me, and especially my recruitment, because like I said before, I wanted to go out and show the people what I was capable of. So me making that move to Minnesota Prep was probably one of my best moves that I made throughout my whole year playing basketball.
So you mentioned it. You initially signed with Tulsa in November of 2021. All right, but you were released and you were able to reopen your recruitment following the coaching change. I'm assuming Frank Haith was the coach at Tulsa at that time who was recruiting you? Well, funny story. Guess where he ended up coaching next?
This
And guess where you didn't go? That's you know. I'm kidding, man. It's
nah, it's all good. It's all good.
I got if I didn't give you any crap about it, man, then what kind of Memphis fan would I be? You
But
know.
just think, had he chose Memphis and been a Cowboys fan, Daniel, man, y'all would be in sync.
I might. I mean, you know, it could be. We could have a different relationship right now, DJ. We really could. Just think, man. We could have been best friends.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
No, it's all good, man. I just giving you crap, man, because you know it's fun, but I obviously you get released, and then your stock rose significantly after an impressive showing at the Iverson Classic, which was in Memphis in April. The three of us being from Memphis, you know, all three of our the hosts here, you know, how big of a deal is the Iverson Classic, and how do you get selected to play in the event? Um, and just because the talent level there like is unmatched. So how do you like first I guess tell me about how big of a deal it is to play in that Iverson Classic, but then talk to me about, you know, the talent that's in that thing that you were playing up against.
I'm not gonna lie, playing in that Iverson Classic was one of the best events that I've ever played in my career playing basketball. I mean, just seeing all the coaches that's played in the league, and they knew what it takes to get to the league, and just to see them coaching me, mentoring me, giving me advice throughout the whole event was just amazing. You got Steven Jackson, you got Allen Iverson, J.R. Smith pulled up, a lot of players that used to play back in the day, but the talent level up there was unmatched. I mean, you got, like I said, Casey Wallace was there, Anthony Black. Keontae George was there. BJ Edwards was there. I mean, the whole gym was just, full of talent. But so me playing in that Iverson camp was a way for me to, reopen, get more colleges, get an understanding of who I was on the court. And just playing in that event, knowing that I knew big stars were going to be there. John Morant even pulled up. Just knowing that those type of guys were going to be there, I wanted to, show them what I was capable of, and just showing that I had game myself. So, I put on a great show in the All-American game, and after that, and that's when I had got the call from Tennessee, and then that's how I actually got here. So, yeah.
All right, so really essentially it was going there and showing out, which is how Tennessee came in the mix.
Yes, sir.
So did you ever visit Tennessee, or it was when you got an offer you were like, no, I'm going there, like that's the spot?
So basically how it happened was I played in the All-American game. I think I had put on a great performance. I think I didn't really have too many points, but I put out a good performance. We had went to the Dartmouth Martin Luther King Museum, and we had, toured there. And then on our way back to the hotel, I get a call, and turns out it was Rod Clark, the assistant coach. Shout out to Rod Clark. And he just reached out to me. He was just letting me know, like, yo, I love the game. You got that dog mentality in you, and we want to offer you a full scholarship. So just hearing that, kind of made my heart drop because I didn't expect the call. I mean, even though my dad told me that I was going to get the call, but I didn't expect it to, be Tennessee. I thought it was going to be another college, but just hearing that made my heart drop. And then, I went out and came back home after the Iverson event, and then I had went on an official visit to Tennessee, I believe 5 days before my birthday. And I went out there. I love the visit, the atmosphere, the people there, the players, the coaches. I mean, they was just, showing me unconditional love. And I'll probably say the second day before I left on my visit, we were at a restaurant called Walk-Ons. And, just how, the players and the coaches were just interacting with me. Just the respect that they were showing me is just, I really, not to say I wasn't getting it from any other colleges, but it's like with Tennessee, I thought they had treated me like family. And, that's all I'm really about. I'm all about family. So, and that's when I had made the move to go ahead and commit to Tennessee.
So, DJ, you talk about that atmosphere and how they treated you. When you first get to Knoxville, I mean, is it more of the same, or do you get shown even more love now that you are a VFL?
Now that I am a VFL, I get shown even more love. I mean, You know, I got people making me shirts now, you know, got me going to events, you know, giving advice to kids, you know, playing games with kids, you know, signing autographs with kids, taking pictures with kids, just little things like that. That just shows me how much love that Knoxville has for me. And that's all I've ever wanted from college. So.
Yeah, and so also speaking of atmosphere, I got to know, DJ, did you obviously it shows a lot. You each sports team kind of supports one another. Did you get a chance to go to a bunch of football games?
Oh, for sure. I actually went to the Austin Peay game this last weekend, and the crowd that was crazy. I mean, like I said, the atmosphere there was amazing. It was a couple of people there that noticed who I was, but not a lot of people did it. But that's okay. But you know, I just went out there just to show love for the football players, and turns out they had got the win, and shout out to them for getting that win this last weekend. You know, now we getting ready to play Florida this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Even though I'm not gonna be in Florida, but definitely looking forward to that too. So.
Were you on the field last year when they beat Alabama?
And that's the thing. This is a crazy story. Listen to okay, so boom, right? I was at the game. And the game wasn't really. I'm not gonna say it wasn't really like. It was good, but like in the beginning, like the first 2 quarters, it wasn't like nothing was really going on. So I left, and I went back to my room, and I was playing my game. Turns out, the last quarter, I was watching it. I watched like I'll probably say the last 10 minutes, and it was a tiebreaker. And so I just turned the game on. Next thing you know, I just hear the crowds just going crazy. Like I'm living like my dorm, like from my dorm to the stadium is probably like a 10-minute walk. Not even a 10-minute, like almost like a 5-minute walk. You just hear nothing but just people screaming like across my dorms, people screaming outside, fireworks going off, and that's how I knew that we won. And I felt bad for myself because it's like I should have never left that game. Because if I would have been at that game, I would have definitely been on that football.
Randy, I gotta ask: is Paul Skeens off the hook now? Because at least Paul Skeens left because he had to go to sleep to pitch the next day. Because he left the LSU Alabama game at halftime, and you obviously LSU won at the end, and they stormed the field just like Tennessee did. But he went to go to sleep. You wouldn't play games, Randy. I think he now owns the crown.
Paul just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would have rushed the field, though. He's like too cool for school type. I think DJ would have been down there.
He would have been carrying the post.
He would have been carrying the post to the river.
I would have been on that field immediately as soon as I saw that game. But yeah, that's like the only game that I regret leaving. So this year, coming for sure, I'm going to be at that game for sure.
Look, and Georgia's coming into Knoxville this year, so be there because we're going to do the same thing to them.
For sure, that's a bet.
So listen, back on to you though. So your first year under Rick Barnes, you end up redshirting. How does that decision come to be?
Me redshirting last year, I'm definitely gonna say that's one of my best decisions that I made. Even though I wanted to go out there and help my team win, but that redshirt process was just another opportunity for me to grow as a player and as a person. Translating from high school to college, that's a big transition. So I just a lot of things being thrown at me, and I wasn't able to catch those. So they just sat down with me and they was like, maybe it's just it'll be just best for you to just just redshirt, just to get accustomed to the system and getting used to the college lifestyle. So I chose that route, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I've grown a lot from doing that, and I want to shout out to the coaches for that because I mean, ain't no telling what I would have done if I would have never redshirted. But I mean, doing that was like one of the best things that I've done so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get to travel with the team and experience all the highs and the lows of the season, right? It doesn't go perfect, but had a lot of high moments. But what was your biggest takeaway from the redshirt experience?
Biggest takeaway from the redshirt experience, I would say just being the hardest worker on the floor. Working hard when nobody's looking. Getting advice from the older guys that went through the process, like for instance, Josiah, Jordan James, and Santi. They're going in their 5th year, and they know more about Tennessee basketball than I do. So I just go up to those guys. I just ask all the questions that I need, whether it's about basketball or if it's not about basketball. Just getting advice from them. Also, Zakai Ziegler as well. He's going into his junior year, but I've known he's done a lot for Tennessee since he's been here, so I'll get advice from him as well. So, just like I said, just being the hardest worker, working hard when nobody's looking and getting advice from the other guys.
You know, DJ, it's not often that when you're on a college basketball team, you get to have a couple of grandpas you can ask these questions to. But it seems like Triple J and Vescovi too, like they've been there forever. Obviously, we're lucky to have them as Tennessee fans, as you as a teammate. But it's those guys have a tremendous amount of experience. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like. It's like having another coach sitting there on the bench with you. You're on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if we're running a play during practice and I mess up a play, there's just so quick to just guide me, just correct me even when I'm wrong, and just getting that type of feedback from them, just getting that type of that type of correction from him, just to help me throughout the plays or like the defensive settings on the court, just helping me out, helping me get an understanding of the game. So coming up game time, I know exactly what's going on. I don't have to ask questions. I just go with the flow. So.
Absolutely. Speaking of game time, we've seen videos of you all summer dunking on people in the weight room, videos on IG. Saw your first action as a vault in the 3-game exhibition, the tour in Italy, right? You're a culture guy now. Or you got to start earning 7 points a game. First of all, I got to ask about the experience of just being in Italy. Basketball aside, what was Italy like?
Man, Italy was one of the best trips I've ever been on in my entire life. I mean, just visiting the cities. We went to Rome, Florence, Lake Como. We did a boat tour at Lake Como. The view was beautiful. The food was great. The people there was amazing. Even though we were there for, basketball, we're also there for a vacation, just to get away, do a little bit of bonding, with the coaches, with the players, and with other people in Italy as well. And turns out there were actually people from Knoxville who went to Italy with us. So just to see that too, it was just a great experience. It was a lot of fun.
So it's not just Vol Nation, it's Vol worldwide.
All worldwide, baby. You got to know it. You got to.
So obviously after the red shirt, you talk about working hard. We've seen you working hard in the gym. Just where are you at with all your training and experience? You feel like now is the jumping off point for you?
I think this year will definitely be the jumping off point for me. I'm still learning. I'm still learning from the older guys. Still asking questions. But once that first game come on and Coach Barnes calls my number, I'm gonna definitely be ready for sure.
No, absolutely. Talk about some of the older guys, the experienced guys. A lot of those guys weren't even expected to be back, but huge off season for the Vols. Not only you with more experience, but now you got Vescovi, you got Josiah Jordan-James, Meshack, Adu, Zakai Ziegler, obviously coming back off his ACL injury, but the transfers coming in as well. This team looks loaded with talent. First thing I want to ask you is, have you ever been on a team with this much talent? And secondly, we've seen you guys ranked anywhere from like 5 to 10. So how are you guys dealing with the expectations going into the season?
I think our expectations coming through to the season is just, like I said, just being dogs on the court, do whatever it is the coaches want us to do. And because, at the end of the day, that's Rick Barnes. I mean, he's been doing this for 35 plus years. So he knows what he's talking about. So, but no, the talent on our team this year is just amazing. I mean, you got, Cameron Carr coming in, you got JP Estrella, Kay Phillips, you got Dalton Connect coming through from Northern Colorado, you got Jordan Gainey coming from U State. I mean, those guys, they bring a lot to the table, and I think they're going to do great things for us here in Tennessee. So we're going to do some things this year for sure.
Absolutely, man. Last question before we get to the fun stuff, man. You mentioned Rick Barnes a bunch. Obviously, great coaching staff around his experience. A lot is made throughout the years of Rick Barnes and his intensity. So just real quick, not asking you to throw him under the bus. What's it like playing for a guy not only with that much experience, but just with his intensity on the sidelines?
It's crazy. Speaking of Rick Barnes, he's calling me right now.
Uh-oh, you better answer that, man. We don't want to be the reason that you don't answer.
May I?
Yeah, of course. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, playing under Coach Barnes, it don't get no better. If you're gonna play under Coach Barnes, you better come with your A game because he's coming at you for sure. He's a really great dude. I mean, he just wants what's best for you. He always wants to see his players work hard, push themselves to the limit. And, like I said before, he wants you to be ready coming up game time, because if he, draws that play on the board and you go out and you don't execute, then he's going to be a mad man, and you don't want to see a mad Coach Barnes, because a mad Coach Barnes is a bad Coach Barnes, if you ask me. We've seen that a lot in practice. So, Coach Barnes is a great dude. He knows what he's talking about. He's been doing this for almost 50 years. So, you can't get no better playing under Coach Barnes. Great dude.
No doubt.
You know, Randy, we had a missed opportunity. You know, we obviously had to pause the episode so our man could take a call from Rick. And, you know, we know Daniel has a certain feeling for Rick Barnes. And, you know, we should have had DJ just tell him how Daniel just really feels about him. We had a chance to expose the host of our show right there. Daniel, why don't you go ahead and tell DJ that you don't like Rick Barnes at all?
You should have had Rick on speakerphone so I could have been like, Rick Barnes.
Hey, we Memphis here.
DJ, I've been trying to tell DB that, like, you might think you want that Rick Barnes smoke, but you don't want that Rick Barnes smoke.
Because I'm not gonna lie, coming in, I came on my visit. I'm not gonna lie, it's a true story. It's a true story. I came on my visit. I'm talking about dude was just, I mean, Coach Barnes was just the coolest dude ever. I mean, he was smiling all the time. He was making jokes, but I came into the summer, totally different person. Cause I looked back, I was like, nah, never mind. I ain't even gonna question that. That just tells me everything I need to know. He gonna show that he's a good dude off the court, but on the court, yeah, he mentally locked in. So as long as you locked in, like Coach Barnes locked in, you're not gonna have no problems.
Yeah, it's not because Daniel has anything personal. It's because he's the Tennessee coach. We Memphis here, so West East. You know, it's a battle, so we have those feelings naturally. As a matter of fact, we
it's
can't
not
wait.
much of a battle. I mean,
well, because y'all won't play us, but that's another.
Yeah, I forget.
Story.
Hey, DJ, you didn't play there yet, but a couple years ago, I drove up to Nashville, and Tennessee was on the court. We were warming up. Memphis too scared to come in the building, dog. You believe that?
Really, we're gonna go that route.
Daniel, was Tennessee on the court warming up? And then did Tennessee not enter squad scrimmage?
Since you're gonna do
Memphis
Daniel,
took the bus back to the crib.
Since you're gonna do Daniel like
we're talking about other teams canceling games, and we get mad because we didn't take the court because of COVID protocols.
No, and the same dude that they said had COVID, I seen with my own eyes in the parking lot hugging up on folks.
Hold on, Randy. Since you're gonna do that to Daniel,
I don't want to get political on this show.
No, hold on, Daniel. I'm gonna put Randy on Front Street. Hey, Randy, what exact city of Memphis do you live in?
Bartlett.
Where was the Iverson Classic held?
Bartlett.
Did you go watch DJ play? No, you
did not.
So you know
DJ,
what?
Let me tell you, that's not putting me on blast. DJ, I have a daughter that plays competitive travel ball, and we was at a training, like a showcase tournament that weekend, like a college recruit. So I ain't sorry I didn't. I hate I didn't see you. I hate I didn't see you, dog. But look, I promise you, I'll catch you before you leave Tennessee.
Sure.
All right. So let's move. Since we're already having a fun portion, we're gonna move on to the game called This or That. DJ, it's basically as simple as we give you two options. You choose one or the other. You can't say neither. You can't say both. You down to play?
Down to play. Let's get it.
All right. This week's version of This or That is brought to you by Busy Bees Boutique, where you can get your DJ Jefferson NIL apparel, including the cartoon shirt my man is wearing right now. So you can find it.
Man, you see it. Go get y'all one, man. It's gonna link drop it soon.
Oh, DJ. There you go. DJ. Perfect. Randy, you better be ordering right now. That's what he's doing. He's I see you typing. Go ahead. All right. First question. You prefer sausage or bacon?
Sausage.
Ooh.
Yeah, sausage.
Nah. Weak answer. Moving on. If you were left on an island with either your worst enemy or no one at all, what would you rather have? So you're stranded. Like, you ain't fixing to get off. You want to be by yourself? You want to be with your worst enemy?
I'll probably say my worst enemy because we can hate each other as much as we can, but we're both not going to die. So we're going to have to work together regardless. So I'll probably say my worst enemy.
Exactly. All right, this one's a tough one, man. I think, as an LSU guy, I think Tennessee, doesn't matter what sport you're talking about, they got the best uniforms. I get hated on all the time for it, but especially in football, man, I'm a fan of both the smoky grays and the dark mode blacks. Which one do you prefer?
Smoky grays.
That's the right answer. That's the one I love. That's the ones that y'all decided to wear into Baton Rouge last year and beat our ass. So thanks for not only beating us down, but looking good doing it. Would you rather own a massive yacht or a private jet?
Massive yacht.
Right answer again. All right. This one's interesting because you were in Texas and then you went to Minnesota. So I feel like you've kind of lived this life. Would you rather spend an hour in a walk-in freezer or 2 hours in a sauna?
2 hours in the sun.
So I take it based upon that answer real quick. You enjoyed the weather of Texas more than Minnesota.
I'm not gonna lie, Minnesota weather is not it. It's bad. I mean, -20, -30 degrees. The ground is all slick. I mean, I can't do it. So I'd rather take 2 hours in the sun.
I don't know how you did it, man. I visited up that way one time and the wind was freezing my face. And I was like, I mean, I was just there for a day. I was like, how people live here?
Trust me, I couldn't take it myself. I don't know how I make it out of there. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. So would you rather have Kyrie's handles or Curry's jump shot?
That's a tough one. Oh man, that's a tough one. I would definitely say Kyrie's handles because I think I'm a good shooter already. So I'll take Kyrie's handles for sure.
All right. Who do you think has a bigger future? Anthony Edwards or Ja Morant?
Anthony Edwards for sure. Especially seeing the performance he put for Team USA this year.
Ooh, Daniel, he really getting at you now, brother.
Anthony, and I'm only saying this because of what Ja Morant had did, but we're not going to speak on that though.
There we go. There we go. Let's keep it clean. Though, Randy, I almost didn't keep it clean out the gate. Before you got here, my man's favorite athlete is Kevin Durant. It don't sit well with me, man.
The Slim Reaper. Who would? I mean, who wouldn't want him out of the game?
A Westbrook fan.
You gotta think about it. He's 7 foot. He can shoot.
He bailed on my boy to go join the Warriors.
He wanted a championship.
He could have got one. They needed one more year. They needed one more year. Well, I'm glad you brought up championship because the last question is the championship and money question. Right now, I present to you in front of you a duffel bag with $1 million or a national championship ring with the University of Tennessee. Which one you taking?
Give me that ring. I need that. I'm gonna get the money later. I want the ring. I want a natty. National championship, baby. I want that ring. I want the ring.
DJ,
I want $1 million.
Sure? If I had a suitcase handcuffed to my wrist and I walked in there, I unbuckled it off my wrist and I laid it in front of you, or I had a little silly ring sitting right there. I said, I'm gonna walk out of here, DJ. You could take whichever one you want, and I'm gonna come back and get the other one. You're seriously just gonna let some crisp Benjamins in a briefcase just sit there?
I want that natty.
You want to know? You want to know why DJ his answer matters? Go ahead and grab it off the shelf, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean,
you got a guy with a national championship ring, and he's telling you, man, you need to take that meal.
You could. I'll trade this in for $1 million in a minute.
But you know what it's like to win one. DJ's still trying to get that natty.
True.
Daniel, let me ask you this. We've never talked about this before. We always mess with the guests, but that was coaching in national championship. Would it be different if you were the player instead?
No, not at all.
He didn't even hesitate, Randy.
Not
said that with no hesitation.
I got 2 kids, and I feel like the more kids someone has, the more that answer is really easy to answer. So, but no, I don't discredit the hard work or anything and that dedication that it takes to get one, because it's an incredible journey when you get one, and it's super fulfilling. And I talk about giving that ring away, but like the reality is like that's a big deal. Like not everybody can say they got one or they earned it, or nobody can talk about all the hard work that they put in to get it. So
I mean, think about this.
I
Daniel.
definitely cherish that thing for sure.
Daniel, if you think about this, he has said the right answers. Being from Texas, he says Kevin Durant, who obviously University of Texas you watched growing up. He said for karaoke he would sing Rocky Top, and now he's saying national championship. He said all the right answers. He's done what he's supposed to do.
You're right.
That's too, man.
Here's the bittersweet feeling: is if you win one, that means my team didn't. So You know,
Take that to the bank.
If it ain't my team, I hope it's yours. There you go.
You don't even mean that.
I do mean that.
No, you do not.
Man, bringing a natty to here, that would change the whole.
Because Randy will never let you stop hearing about it, Daniel.
No, that's fine.
I mean, you thought not showing up in Nashville was bad. Woo, boy, let us put a natty on the shelf, boy. I mean,
yeah.
But I'll tell you what, DJ, it's looking good for you because we call it the in off the bench effect. Man, a lot of guests come on this show and then win a national championship that season, and you are our only college basketball guest so far. So Randy's probably gonna make sure I schedule no other college basketball guests. It's gonna be Tennessee only. Y'all gonna be the front runners then.
Go. All right, DJ, man. Before you bounce, anything you want to plug or promote?
Go ahead, get y'all t-shirts. Links dropping soon. I'm gonna put it on my Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram at 4bucket. That's number 4 BUCK, the number 3 T underscore. I repeat, the number 4 BUCK, the number 3 T underscore. I'm gonna drop the link on there. Y'all guys go copy y'all shirts, man. That's it.
Absolutely. See, that's what you're supposed to do when you say anything you want to plug or promote. These cats come on here and go, "No, I'm good," and I have to do all the work for them. You plug the brand, you plug the shirt, you plug the Busy Bees, you plug your personal Instagram. The only thing I'll add to it is if y'all want to know what the Vols are up to during hoop season, IG Vol_hoops give you an update on games. It'll give you some hype videos. It'll give you stats. It'll give you the whole nine, man. Go check them out. DJ, man, we wish you nothing but the best. Hopefully we can get you back on. We'll talk about the season, towards the end.
Oh, certainly. I appreciate you guys having me. Really, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's DJ Jefferson. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to plug our sponsors. When we come back, we got some headlines for you.